All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. That's from As You Like It. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep no more. That's from Hamlet. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. This is from Twelfth Night. I was one of 25 lucky teachers to come to Folger Shakespeare Library in Washington, D.C. this summer to spend time with academic scholars, master teachers, and the education department of the Folger Shakespeare Library. For 4 weeks, all I did was study Shakespeare. This is Henry Clay Folger, and along with his wife Emily Jordan Folger, they opened the Folger Shakespeare Library in 1932 as a gift to the American people. The Folger is a world-renowned research center on Shakespeare and on the early modern age in the West. This is the Great Hall of the Folger Shakespeare Library. Right now there's an exhibit going on called Lost at Sea, which has many documents and some things from ships. It ties into the play The Tempest especially, and Twelfth Night. We also had the pleasure of having a pizza dinner in there the first week that we were there, which was kind of cool. This is the Folger Theater, where many Shakespeare plays have been performed, as well as concerts and literary readings. Every day I got to go up on this stage and act out scenes from Shakespeare and have a lot of fun. And as you'll see from these pictures, the theater has a lot of character. Now I want to show you some artwork that's all over the place in the Folger Library. Most of the pictures you're about to see are in the boardroom, but some are also in the reading room. And this is a statue of Shakespeare that happens to be in the boardroom downstairs. This is a picture in the new reading room in the Folger Library of Macbeth encountering the witches. This is a painting entitled King Lear and Cordelia, painted in 1793 by Benjamin West. This is a picture of Portia and Shylock, which is from Merchant of Venice. It's from 1835, painted by Thomas Sully. Here is a wax seal of Queen Elizabeth back in the late 1500s that she would have used to seal documents that she signs. This is a manuscript written by King James I about demonology. Shakespeare was writing Macbeth while King James I was the king, and he wrote Macbeth with the witches specifically for King James I. Here is the actual handwriting on the left-hand side of King James I making notes to his manuscript that he wants edited for the final version. The oldest book that I was able to see in the collection was from 1480, a book called Orthographia by Giovanni Tortelli. And the librarian showed us this because it's a good example of early binding with the wooden boards, the gatherings, and the spine stitchings. And I mean, it's just amazing. This is from 1480, and the next picture is going to show you the spine of the book. The librarian, Georgiana Ziegler, told us that sometimes there would be little papers that would be bound in with the stitchings and the bindings. They'd find all sorts of different little newspapers. Sometimes there'd be leaves in there. And it was just fascinating to hear about these books. I mean, we got to hold a couple books that were, 500 years old. It's just amazing how good of shape the paper was in. They actually made the paper better those days than they do now. This was the moment I was waiting for. This is the first folio, which was published in 1623. I was like a kid in a candy store when they told me that I could lay my hands on the first folio. This first folio was published in 1623. There's only 230 copies of this book known to exist in the world. The Folger Library owns 79 of them. And the book that I have my hands on is worth about $6 million. The first folio contained 36 of Shakespeare's plays. And something that I never knew was that every folio published was a little bit different than others because of the way that they were published on the printing press. They were different sizes, sometimes they had different fonts set up, but no folio is exactly alike. Another interesting fact is there was a first folio, a second folio, a third folio, and all the plays, not all the plays, but some of the plays have been changed. And found out something about Hamlet. Hamlet was actually half the size that it is now in the first folio. The Folger Library has a preservation lab on the 3rd floor where they take books that they think are in danger of being broken or have been broken and they repair them. They clean the pages by soaking them in special chemicals. They redo the bindings. They really do amazing work, and the following picture is going to kind of show you some ancient books, manuscripts, a couple seals, and some of the equipment that they use. This is the famous Folger reading room. You need to have a special reading card to get in here. The only reason I got one was because I was a part of the Teaching Institute. Here we can examine books that are anywhere from 100 to 600 years old. It's quite a thrill to be able to look at these books. It's one of the greatest collections in all of the world. This is a stained glass window in the reading room which depicts the 7 ages of men, which is covered in the play As You Like It in All the World's a Stage speech. On the other end of the reading room is a portrayal of William Shakespeare, which is a replica of something that's in Westminster Abbey. This is an actual copy of Holinshed's Chronicles. You see the year 1577. This is the book that William Shakespeare would use to get many of his historical facts straight. What I used it primarily for was to look at the stuff with Macbeth, but I found many interesting accounts talking about all the stories, and believe it or not, there is mention of the Weird Sisters in Holinshed's Chronicles. And there they are, the Weird Sisters in Holinshed's Chronicles, and this picture is in the Folger edition of Macbeth that we have looked at as freshmen. I couldn't help myself. I had to have a photograph of me looking at Holinshed's Chronicles in the reading room. Yes, I am a geek. And then, of course, I had to have one of me holding the book as well, and also representing my beloved Packers. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you. We're all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And, like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, ye all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. From the Tempest. It was a wonderful summer. I was given a great gift of being able to spend 4 weeks in Washington, D.C. at the Folger Shakespeare Library, and I cannot wait to show you, my students, the world of William Shakespeare.